All right, I got a special guest on this week's Anabolic Academy. Joining me is the Orlando Pro Champion, Phil Clahar. What's doing, Phil?
Hey, what's going on, man?
So, what I do once a week is I usually answer questions people send me either on Instagram or email and so on and so forth. But today we're going to start off with a little bit of an interview with you, and then you get to answer some questions with me if you'd like.
Yeah, no problem. No
All
problem.
right, cool. First, so tell me what it was like winning the Orlando Pro when everybody had Hassan Mustafa, and rightfully so, because he looked good at the Toronto Pro and he took second, had him picked, and you came out of nowhere and took that show.
I mean, it was the same thing I dealt with in 2021 when
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't being spoke about at all. It was Ian and I think Charles Griffin, and I
Right,
forgot who else it was. I mean, I wasn't even in the discussion at all,
right, right.
you know. And then we surprised them and changed that. This year, I think I spoke with Ron in the beginning of the year, and I spoke with you as well. We did uh, a chat thing, and things were just different this year.
Mm-hmm.
Having a good long off season, let my body heal and recover. So when I was listening to the talk, I've never been the one to pay attention to talk. I mean, it doesn't
Good.
discourage me; it actually fuels me.
Mm-hmm.
So I just said to myself, "Let them keep talking."
All right, good.
I knew what I was going to bring, and I knew what we were going to bring was going to be really good. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because we put on muscle, we put size on my legs. I knew what we were bringing. If it just came in right,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't care if it was Hassan. It doesn't matter who would have been in that show. I mean, I
Right.
was just ready for any big names.
Mm.
So it was a bittersweet though. It was a bittersweet winning. Um, you know, it is what it is.
What? How was Hassan? Was he a sportsman? Did he congratulate you?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's
Hassan
good.
will speak very good English. So
Okay,
no, yeah, man. He gave me a hug, and
good.
I mean, we were physically communicating throughout the show. We
Mm-hmm.
shook hands. When he did his pose, we came off, we fist pumped. When he got done doing, I think when he did his 1 minute routine
Mm-hmm.
in the prejudging, he was over at his chair. I went over, I gave him a hug. I mean, this sport's about love. I mean, of course, we're all battling to win, but it's
Mm-hmm.
about love and respect. And I love and respect Hassan. I mean, I watch him when they had their daughter from an infant traveling with them
That's
competing. His
right.
wife
Yeah.
is lovely, so that's
Yeah.
why I say it's bittersweet because he's such a great guy. They got a great
Right.
family.
Yeah. How is he in person as far as his physical appearance? Because I know he's a massive human being, so I've never seen him in person though.
He carries tons of muscle.
Yeah.
He's a shorter guy. When he has clothes on, he don't look as big, you
Mm-hmm.
know. But yeah, man, Hassan carries tons of muscle. His legs, I mean, this guy probably don't even need to do legs for 6 months,
Right.
and he'll still be fine.
Yeah.
Tons of muscle he has on him. He's a great bodybuilder. I told him, because I asked him what was he going to do next. You know what I mean? And they said they're going to sit and talk about it. But he has a chance. He has a
Well,
chance.
yeah.
So I just hope he doesn't just pack it in because I know this sport it can make you get very frustrated.
Oh, yeah.
But I've always believed they'll give up.
Right.
I
Right. Right.
think he could definitely still get into the Olympia.
Yeah. No, I agree. I hope he does not, because the truth of the matter is, it was just maybe some water retention difference between Toronto and Orlando. That was
Yeah,
really
he
it.
looked better in Toronto.
Yeah,
You know.
absolutely. So if he could take care of that, I could totally see him winning another show.
And Vancouver is the perfect place I believe he should go because he lives in Canada.
Oh,
You know
all
what I'm
right.
saying?
Yeah, right.
That's just what I believe. I just know Tampa's going to be tough.
Yeah.
Texas is going to be tough.
Hmm.
And then you got some shows overseas, but why should he put his body through flying all those hours overseas?
Right.
I would just go for Vancouver, man, right at home, close to home, and nail it and just end up in the Olympia. That's just
Yeah.
what I believe he should do.
No, that's actually a really good strategy, and I agree with you. But I did not know we lived in Canada, and if that was the case, yeah, that's exactly what you should do. Get that W, go to the Olympia, qualify, and that's it. Why do you think the judges picked you for the win?
Honestly, I don't think the judges necessarily picked me. I think it was I won. I believe that they saw something. What I was told was it was a tie in prejudging,
Mm-hmm.
and I was not a little flat, not much.
Mm-hmm.
This what I was told after I won.
Mm-hmm.
So after prejudging, I've been down this road before. Social media is going crazy. Clahar won. Same thing as when me and Ian went at it. Social media is going crazy. So I was like, I blocked all that out. So
Right.
I got to that. I called Blue. I said, listen, we need to come in better, drier, tighter, if that's even humanly possible.
Right.
Okay. And we need to make sure there's no doors open. Because what I'm battling against is this. Hassan is a big name and he has a very big following.
That's for sure.
Okay. So it puts, and I don't want to say this the wrong way, but it put the judges in a very, very tight situation. You know what I'm saying? When he's on the borderline of getting beat. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
Right. Right. Right.
when I did, when we did what we had to do, and we came in, and I spoke with the judges, and they said it was very close. You guys were tied, leaning more towards possible Hassan was going to take it, but you came in bigger, which we don't even know how that's even possible. They said you look like you put 5 pounds on your chest and
Yeah.
5 pounds on your delts and your arms, and you were more tight.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
really, really tight in the morning. So basically, they said I shut the door.
Good.
So it was possibly going the other way, and possibly they were trying to make it go the other way.
Right. Right. Right.
But
Right.
then when you shut that door,
Mm.
you got to do the right thing. You got
Now,
to
if you
do
don't
the right
mind me
thing.
asking, what did you do to come in bigger and harder for the night show? Because you only have a few hours.
All I did was, man, I got some rest. Limit water. Didn't drink any water. I think as soon as I got to the room, we did I think about 2, 3 ounces of water. That's it. Because I
Mm.
barely even did any water coming into the prejudging. We did 3 ounces of water. I went in and took a nap. I
Mm-hmm.
got up. We had some salmon, some white rice, and about 3 rice cakes. Kept everything really, really dry,
Mm-hmm.
and that was it. Because I didn't want to keep eating because I ate tons of carbs, a carb load. I
Ah,
can't even tell you how much carbs I ate because I was depleted for almost 7 to 8 weeks. So my body was just, we were shoveling. The carbs was ridiculous. Um, so but he kept monitoring my stomach. How do you feel? Because we don't want your stomach to be extended because you're
right.
so full. But bowel movements was going, man. I was going
Good.
number twos. Left every time I ate, I was going. So everything
Good.
was flowing. Um, and then we took some peanut butter with rice cakes and some jam, and I sprinkled salt on there. And I brought some cookies. So when I got there, I ate 2 rice cakes, still no water, and just ate 2 cookies. But my feet was up, just laying down. The more I was eating those every 30 minutes or so with my feet up, I went to the bathroom to have bowel movement again, and veins were just running everywhere. Like, what I mean, I got drier, tighter. It was just, it was my time. The body
Right.
was just going in the right direction, and when the body's going in the right direction, and it's your time and that's your day, and
Mm-hmm.
nothing is going wrong, it just turned out well.
Is this your first pro win?
Yes,
Wow. Okay.
yes.
How did you celebrate it?
Well, when I found out I won, I fell to the ground. That's
Oh,
uh,
by the way, is that I was watching your live feed. Well, I think it was it your wife that was taking it
yes.
because she is clearly your number one fan. Because I was actually at the gym doing cardio Saturday when I was watching the live feed of on your phone, and it had to be your wife, and I hear her screaming, right? Just
Yeah.
her head was blown, like, and I was like that. Well, to me, that makes all the difference in the world. When you have good people, especially your wife, that support you
Yeah.
and is by your side, that makes all the difference in the world. It truly does. If you have somebody who is not like that, it makes it a lot more difficult to be that aggressive and ambitious in life. You know,
Yeah,
you need that
because
person.
when we're back at the finals, I'm backstage. Everybody's doing their routines now, and everything is finishing up. Um, and uh, and I said to her, I said, "How did I look out there?" She said, "You look great." So she's sending me pictures. I was like, I just hope they do the right thing. And she said, "It's in God's hands. It is what it is."
Right,
So
right.
when I went out there, because I know I battled, I brought it. I mean, I could have posed. I could still be on stage now, still posing. I mean, I
Yeah.
was that zoned in. It just
Right.
didn't matter. And when I was on that stage, man, and I heard the third place, and I heard second place. In my mind, I'm getting that Ian vibe again in my head, like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
they're gonna get me. So I'm just sitting there waiting for it. And honestly, I had doubts. I just didn't think. You know what I mean? Just with everything I went through, but I knew I put all the work in this time. I made no mistakes. I did everything I had to do, and I made every improvements and some that all the judges have told me to do. You
Mm-hmm.
know, so there was no way. But then when they called him for a second. I said, "Oh my God!"
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. I just fell to the floor, man. I was crying. I was bawling like a kid. One of the competitors had to come in, get me up and help me walk over. And what I mean, it was just a blessing, man. It
Yeah,
was
yeah.
a blessing. And like I said in the speech to them, I said, when I started this sport, God knows how long ago, I asked God for two things: help me get my pro card. I got that at 43 years old.
Wow, it's
Um,
fantastic, man.
and then I just wanted to step on that Olympia stage one time.
You
That's all
got
I
it.
ever asked for. And man, God just does things on his own time. But
Yeah,
boy, when you get it and he
yeah.
does it, so yeah, it's still setting in, but in my mind, it's over. I was talking to Giles yesterday because now I have the Masters to focus on
Yes.
because the Masters wasn't in my radar because we had to win Orlando. And I told my
Mm,
coach that. I said, listen, I don't care about the Masters. They can hype that up all they want. That's great. I said, but it's only one show I'm concerned about that I have to win. And that's
mm.
how I trained, that I had to win. My other shows, in my mind, I always had backup shows. Well, if I don't do well here, I do that. And I think
Ah,
that's what messed me up.
that could be
When
it.
I put myself in a position saying I have to win this show, it made me train harder, train smarter, and did what I had to do to come in the way I had to do it. So now that's over.
Right.
Business is done. Now we focus on Romania.
That's right. And in 8 weeks, you have the Masters Olympia, and clearly you have to be the favorite going in because the big names. When I did the review of your show in Orlando, at the end, I said the big names are obviously Phil, Fred Smalls, Kamal Agdani, Vinny Galante, seem to be the four.
I think
Best.
Max Charles is in there.
Yeah, let's okay. Max Charles. I'll give you Max Charles. If you saw him, if you saw.
There's another gentleman, Josh Ronalowitz.
Oh, right, 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 right.
Yeah,
Okay, all these guys are building into their body, except for Vinny, and Kamal. But Vinny and Kamal are not nearly as big as you. So Fred is you're working on all eight cylinders right now. You're firing on all eight. Fred is a fantastic bodybuilder. He's a great guy. He's been on my show. He's building into his body. Josh Lenartowicz is building into his body. To be quite frank, I was at the New York Pro when I saw what was the bodybuilder you just mentioned? I
Max
can't.
Charles.
Max Charles. He's got a lot of improvements if he wants to do any damage. From the back, he was really, really. He's got a lot of improvements to make. So clearly, as far as I'm concerned, you're the favorite going in. Did Giles, by the way, is a great dude. Did he talk about that at all? Because
Yes, he
so
said
good.
by basically by winning this pro show, it just now puts me at the top for the
Mm,
Master Olympia. That probably Kamal is now, concerned and looking over his shoulder. But I was like, Kamal trained with me, and Kamal knows me, so he knows my work ethic. He knows
Yeah.
that, so it doesn't matter. Kamal already knows that he know I'm going to bring it regardless.
Right, right,
I
right.
don't think Kamal was expecting to see or hear what he heard this past weekend.
Yeah.
I think now it may draw a little concern. Um, but either way, he's a great guy. It's going to be a great battle. It's going to be a great show. I hope he brings his best. I
He
really
will.
do. And I'm going to bring my best, and everybody else bring theirs, and just see where the cards fall.
Yeah. No, Kamal is a true champion. There's no question about that. The man is a bodybuilding warrior. And he's been doing it for God
Yeah,
knows how long. I think he's older than you. He's well into his 50s at this point, and I think he actually said this is his last show. So he's not pulling out any stops on this show. That's for sure.
right.
But at the same time, my prediction is you're obviously the favorite. Like I said, because you're firing on all eight cylinders, and you just won an Open Pro, and you just qualified for the Olympia. So now you're on everybody's radar, where beforehand you weren't. But I'm glad you are, because you made me look great when I predicted you to win. So on Anabolic Academy, I usually get some questions. Let's see if we could answer some questions. Some of the questions I'll answer, you don't have to answer, because they might be a little bit either questions about me, or they might be a little bit a little bit controversial, so you don't have to answer them. But I'll answer the first controversial question I had. This person wanted to know about Superdrol. I mean, if you want to jump in, go right ahead. But this person wanted to know about Superdrol. What is it? How to take it? Is it for bulking or leaning out? So Superdrol is an oral called methosterone, and you could use it for either bulking or leaning out. It's very high on the anabolic scale. I think it's like a 400.
That's
I've
bad.
Yeah, I've never used it, so I don't have any experience with it. But just like any oral, you don't want to be on it for more than 6 weeks. But you can use it in a bulking cycle or a cutting cycle. And you probably want to take it a half hour before you train, because it's in your system within a half hour, but you'll see results just like anything else, like in 3 weeks. That's really the only one. I try to stay away from orals no matter what. And I really think,
Some coaches like to use it the last 3 days into a show. They
really?
think it's going to harden you up. I
Okay.
was I'm not going to mention any coach name, but
It's all right.
that was something that they did. That after that, I really wish I never messed with it, because I didn't do my research on
Mm-hmm.
it. I was just trusting that coach at that time, and it really tanked my liver. It made my blood work really bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that person thought it'll just harden you up. It was a powerful mastering, is what is what
Yeah.
that person said. So
Yeah.
yeah, I wouldn't play.
Yeah. No, me neither. There are certain anabolics that you could just there's a reason why people use certain ones, and a reason why people don't use the others. And these drugs have been on the black market or been made by pharmacy companies for years and years and years at this point, right?
Right,
Since the 1940s. We know what works. We know what doesn't work. We know what to stay away from. There's no miracle drug. There's no new drug coming out because they're illegal. So pharmaceutical companies aren't going to put the research in to make a better, more superior anabolic steroid, because there's no money in it because they're illegal. So, stick to the basics, train hard, get your sleep, get your nutrition down, and if you're a young guy, listen to this. This is the steroids are the last thing that needs to be on your radar in bodybuilding. It's the last thing. Get everything down. I can't tell you how many times I'm in the gym and maybe I'm helping a young guy, and I'm sure this happens to you too. And they ask me about anabolics, and they don't even know how to bench press right. I'm like, dude, you're really putting the cart before the horse, man. Like, you need to
yeah,
get the basics down first before you even think about doing that. All right, let's see. Next question. Do you think we're ever going to see Jay Cutler or Phil Heath back on stage? My opinion, no. What do you think?
yeah. I honestly thought Phil was gonna make a comeback last year.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I just think Phil is in a different place right now, and it's a good place.
Yeah.
I mean, he has so much stuff going on a business aspect, but just mentally, like he's in a very, very good place. I mean, to come back for what reason? It's
Right.
not
There's
the
nothing to
money.
prove. Yeah.
It's not the money.
Yeah.
He's,
Right.
he won what, seven Mr. Olympias. I mean, he's the freaking man. I mean,
Yeah.
some
Right.
people's never going to ever see seven. I don't think we're going to see seven Olympiads with one person again in a
Me
long
too.
time.
And a very
You
long
know,
time. Yeah.
so yeah, he don't have nothing to prove, bro. Jay Cutler, that man is made.
Yeah. Right.
You
Yeah. No,
know,
I don't. Same thing. I don't think any of these guys are going to. I don't think we're ever going to see a Kai on stage again, a Phil, a Jay. First of all, like you said, mentally, you have to really. One of the things that kind of takes you out of bodybuilding, in my experience, is when you don't do it for a while.
yeah,
You kind of fall into another, like you said, you kind of prioritize differently when you don't do it for a while. I'll do another show in 2 years. Do you know how many pro bodybuilders like retired without retiring because they're like, let me put this stuff on hold, and then they never come
yeah.
back or whatever the case may
When I
be.
retire, it is done.
It's over.
It's you know what I mean. I don't like it when I see it. I don't like even now with the Masters. Some people coming back that hasn't
Right.
competed. It's just you're playing. It's a dangerous game. You
It
know what I mean.
is.
I do understand. It's a big stage and it's giving back an opportunity to the older guys but you've been when you're gone for a while, you just got to really think about it. Is it really worth doing this stuff now? Takes time off our life anyway.
Right.
People don't even look at that. You know what I mean? And these are all the things that I put in perspective. That's
Hmm.
why next year, the end of next year, I'm done. Regardless, I don't care if I won more pro shows and I'm flying high. I'd rather end on a high than
Right.
end on a
Sure.
low. So, you know what I mean? I put a lot of things in perspective. 50 is just a number for me, 50, uh, and I'm done. You know what I mean? And because I love my family and myself, and I need to stick around for my grandkids as
Exactly.
long as I possibly can.
Yeah. Listen, being 300 pounds of muscle when you're 30 as opposed to 50, two different things.
Yes.
Two totally different things. Your body could take that punishment at 30. You got getting to 50. And that's why I question why Kai is still 300 pounds. He did a guest posing in India not too long ago. And it's like, why are you still that big? You don't have to be. You're retired. You're Kai Green. People are going to still want to come and see you and talk to you. And, you're a
I
bodybuilding
just think
legend at this
it's
point.
that thing as a bodybuilder because that's what made him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So he believes, I may be wrong, that he needs to keep that physical image, that physical appearance to
Mm-hmm.
keep his fans entertained. And you're right, he does not, because just his personality is crazy. So
Seriously,
the way he
look at Jay
talks,
Cutler. Jay Cutler proves it.
yeah, So I mean,
Ronnie.
I hope he does. I hope he does make the decision to do that. I just don't want to hear or hear or see anybody else passing away for no
Exactly.
unforeseen reasons.
Exactly. I agree. I mean, we want these guys to stay healthy and be around and make the right choices because we've seen it all the time. I mean, and there's guys that are a lot younger, like we had a tragedy this past weekend, Joe Linder, and he was only 30, which is very sad. And we certainly try to not have that happen. And by doing that is you got to take the proper precautions. And one of which is when you're retired, there's no reason to be 300 pounds. Right. And that's why you see Dorian and Jay and Ron, these guys. Well, Ronnie is different. It was but Phil, all these guys downsize. Every professional bodybuilder downsizes after they retire. And it's probably feels good to downsize a little bit. You don't
Oh
have to
yeah,
eat fucking 10,000 calories a day. And
yeah.
all
Yeah.
right, let's see. Next question. What pro athlete or celebrities would do well if they completed in bodybuilding? Well, my first pick is always Mike Tyson.
Right.
If Mike Tyson was a bodybuilder, he'd be a monster. Well, would have been a monster. What do you
Yeah,
think?
the old Mike Tyson.
Yeah,
Yeah,
oh, yeah. The Mike
yeah.
Tyson when he used to step
That
into
boy
the
was
ring and
naturally jacked. Yeah.
yeah. Absolutely. What do you think? Everybody would pick The Rock, probably.
The Rock will be good. He has no. Don't kill me, Rock. He don't have the legs because of the height. It's
Right.
his legs that because I know he was putting out there a little bit ago. He wanted to try an amateur bodybuilding show,
Right,
and
right, right.
everybody was getting on him saying, "Well, you have to build those legs before you can step on stage," you know.
Yeah,
So yeah, I think that would hurt him with his legs.
yeah. I think like I keep going back to Mike Tyson because Mike Tyson, just being a fighter, you had to have a solid legs, you know.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. Next question. This one I'll give to you because you just won. What was your favorite post-contest meal?
Oh man, we went cheeseburger,
Yeah.
and I got some chocolate something with ice cream. I don't know what it was. My grandson picked it out. But yeah, we had cheeseburger, fries, and some wings. Wings is my number one when the show's done. I got to find
That
somewhere with wings. You know,
yeah. Good. That's great,
a
man.
lot of people go hunt for pizza. Me, burger, wings and fries, and a dessert. I'm good.
Right. All right, cool. Yeah, me, I always went for a cheeseburger. I mean, I only did NPC shows, but I always went for a cheeseburger, French fries. That's usually what I go to. Uh Best pre-workout meal.
I
What do
just take
you
a pre. I take a pre-workout. That's it.
yeah, do like
Yeah.
usually an hour before I might do a shake or something like that. I don't like going to the gym on a full stomach.
No, yeah, I'd make sure like because even when I eat my one meal, I have to wait at least an hour to an hour and a half before I go work out. I can't work out on a full stomach.
Yeah, me neither. That's just yeah, I can't be able to do that. Let's see. Okay. How do you think you would look physique wise if you stayed lifetime natty? I would probably look much different. But you know,
If I
this
stayed
is
natty,
that nobody knows that you're going to be on the show, so it's probably directed toward me.
oh,
But yeah, you're like a big surprise. I didn't say you're going to be on the show yet. But if this is directed toward me, yeah, I mean, I am 47, and the only thing I use now is TRT and growth. That's
yeah,
it.
that's
That's
all you
that's
need.
really all. That's really all I use. So yeah, of course I would be. I would look a lot different, but that is a personal choice. There are great guys out there that have tremendous builds and they are natural. They might use over the counter stuff. They might use TRT or something like that. And if you're a guy that wants to, go balls to the wall, just make sure you do your research and your blood work and do it as safe as possible. But it's really if you're not a competitive bodybuilder, that's another thing. You don't if you want to dabble in it, you don't need much. You really don't.
Especially these young kids. First
oh
thing they
God,
come up to you about is trend.
big.
That's the
That's a
first thing.
yeah, yeah,
First
yeah,
thing. Hey
yeah,
Phil, what do you think? I mean, how old are you? They said I'm like they'll say 23. I said no.
yeah,
I don't even. I can't entertain it because
yeah,
everything they think that's the most dangerous drug for a first time person
yeah, yeah,
to want
absolutely.
to take. You know, but
Yeah, there's no question about it. It's just, yeah, they want to jump on the hard stuff right away. Hey, look, and it's just, I think it's worse with this generation because this generation doesn't have any, um,
patience.
yeah, they have no
They don't
patience.
have no patience.
Everything is,
Yeah,
quick Instagram, social media, quick, 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 quick. I don't want to, I remember I didn't try anything. I think I was 21 the first time.
yeah. I was
Yeah.
27, 28. I know I was in my late 20s because I was competing for a while naturally.
Mm-hmm.
And genetically, I was big naturally.
Mm-hmm.
And I met Jay. He was in New Jersey. I can't remember where in New Jersey he was. He was guest posing. This was before, this when he was up and coming. And he
Mm-hmm.
said to me, he said, "You compete?" I said, "No." He said, "You really need to think about competing." He said, "You look like you could be a great pro."
What's Jay
You know,
Cutler?
yeah.
Wow.
This is when he
Okay.
was really young. This was way back. You know, I started competing in 1999.
Wow. Okay.
That's when I started. You know what I
So he
mean?
was the man.
I met Jay Cutler, Nasser El Somebody, Ronnie Coleman. That was nuts because he was literally sitting right next to me. And then somebody taps my shoulder and say, "Ronnie." I said, "I'm not Ronnie. Because we're both bald."
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
But I met some great, great people that gave me good, good advice as a young, up and coming bodybuilder. And then I just tried it, man. I just started competing and decided, hey, I'll try to go pro.
Andrea Short told me something very similar. If you're getting the top people in that world telling you, yo, you really need to compete, then you really need to compete because
Yeah.
then they're not going to tell some dummy that has no possibility of winning. You know, these are the best in the world, and they're telling you, hey, listen, you might really should consider it. Then you should consider it. I mean, the most I ever got was somebody in the gym saying, hey, you ever think about competing? But when Jay Cutler is telling you, you better
Yeah.
stop everything and rethink. I mean, really, it's just unbelievable. All right. The next question is, who is my best friend in bodybuilding? But who's your best friend in bodybuilding? Not like a guy you grew up with.
Honestly, tell you the truth, I probably would not be in this sport or even doing bodybuilding if it wasn't for Ben Hoffman.
Really?
Ben was in my area of New Jersey for college,
Mm-hmm.
and he was going to college, and we hooked up in the gym, and he was getting ready for a show, the Ghost Classic in Tom's River. And he said, you should do it. I said, no, man. I said, you have a coach. I don't know what I'm doing. He said, just copy what I'm doing, So
Yeah,
I
yeah,
did. I mean, I did. And I looked great. I was natural. I looked great. Uh, I took third because I had no protein. I didn't know you had to wear protein. I didn't know black
right,
people. I knew nothing about the bodybuilding.
right. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Well, the
yeah.
judges told me after that, they said you would have won this show if you had protein, So I give it all to Ben, man. Ben, we were ride and die for a while. We were just texting a little bit ago. He's off the wall when he found out I won. So
Mm-hmm.
he's texting like all the old places we used to work at. I used to work at a nightclub called Delirium. He's calling the guy that used to own that, and he's like so excited, and he tells everybody, "I'm the reason why Clahar is where he's at now."
Yeah,
And you
yeah, yeah.
look at it, it is. He got me into this sport, man. So I would say Ben Hoffman.
Oh, all right. With me, clearly, it's Jason Arns. And him and I, our relationship. I never had a really close friend in bodybuilding, but with me, our relationship uh, solidified itself when I actually left muscular development.
Mm.
That's a whole other story. I left on bad terms with muscular development, and I had this show. I still have, you were part of it, called Muscle Talk, and all the other guys that were on the show left when I left muscular development,
Mm.
and Orange was the only one that stayed and said, we don't need muscular development to grow your channel. So
Wow.
clearly, he's clearly, and there's another guy that I'm really good friends with in bodybuilding, Ian Hedek. He has his own channel. He's a good dude, but clearly after that happened, he could do no wrong in my eyes after that.
You know what? I tell so many people, because a lot of people, me as being running my business, being a personal trainer, I hear all kinds of different stories from my clients or just people in the gym. I tell a lot of people, man, because I'll hear them say, my friend, my friend, my friend, my friend. And I said, step back a little. I said, say your acquaintance,
Yeah,
because
exactly.
you'll find out who your true friends are when you fall flat on your face and you have nothing. You'll
Right.
find out. I had one of my clients, ex-clients, because he had an issue with his leg. He told me, he said, after I got my surgery, none of my best friends that I thought was my friends came and visit me. Just one
Mhm.
of my clients that I trained came to my house when I was bedridden for months.
Right.
And he could tell it bothered him. But I spoke to him and I uplifted him. I said, that shouldn't bother you. I said, because everything in life is a learning lesson. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? And with me, God just puts people in my circle, and I have to do my part too to keep the negative out, right? So
Definitely.
everything sometimes in life is meant to happen, is meant to happen and meant to be. So probably it just wasn't meant to be with MD. It just probably
Right.
just not meant
Right.
to be.
Right.
But if people bounce just because of that, then they were never really your friend or a
Right.
supporter of you in the first place.
Right. 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 It's very difficult. You know, it's very difficult to have a good, solid friendship in the world of bodybuilding because it's a selfish sport to begin with.
Yeah.
Everything revolves around you, and literally, even Justin, I'm sorry, what's his name? Walker, Nick Walker actually just said it on an interview. He basically said, if you want to go to the top, you're gonna have to cut everybody out. And I think he mentioned, I don't remember who else he mentioned, another bodybuilder that wasn't willing to cut people out of their life so they can concentrate on being a top bodybuilder. And there's some truth to that, you know.
There's a lot of truth though,
There's
because
all there's
I had to somewhat do that to prepare, and I will continue to do that as I'm preparing into these next two shows for the Orlando. I had to,
mm-hmm.
I mean, like family, like I can't hear drama. I can't hear things that's going on. I don't want to hear it. So I have to disconnect.
Yeah.
At work, same thing. The last 2 weeks, I had to stop working
Hmm.
because a lot of people don't understand what I'm going through, and they're expecting me to be the person that I normally am when I'm not prepping for a show, and I'm not.
Right,
You know what I'm
right, right.
saying? So he's 100% right.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, my wife Patty, she takes the blunt end of it because she's around me all the time. Very, very short tempered. I don't like to say things twice. You know what I mean? But she's a ride and die. It doesn't matter. She's just a ride and die no matter what. My grandkids, they'll come in and they'll be really quiet because they know Pop Up is dieting, you know. So yeah, man, it's you got to keep your circle small, and if some people you just got to get away from. You know what
Yeah,
I
I
mean?
know it's
To keep
unfortunate.
that winning mentality, you got to keep the right people around.
How many grandchildren do you have?
12.
Wow, you are a blessed man. Truly,
Yeah,
truly
12
blessed man.
between me and my wife. Yes, it's a lot of, hopefully they don't keep having more, but
That is, yeah, Christmas has got to be expensive. But
yeah,
other than that, man, you are a blessed man because it's a whole other story. But me and my wife, we don't have kids, and that's it's a barren life after 40 with no kids, for
yeah,
whatever reason. And you are truly a blessed man to have that many that kind of family size, and to be where you are. It just tells your character and shows really who you are. But I just want to thank you again, man, for coming on. I want to thank you for
no, man, anytime, man. Listen, you got my support. When I was on here the first time with you, Bo, and the other guys, actually, Bo was at the show. He was a big, Bo was big. He was a big supporter, man. That's a
yeah,
great
Bo's a good
dude.
dude. He really is. Bo's
Yeah,
a good dude.
yeah, man. Anytime, it's never an issue. I normally have a good spiritual take over people when
Hmm.
I do interviews. And I don't do interviews with a lot of people.
Hmm.
And one thing I won't do is, me doing well and you all of a sudden call me for an interview. It may not happen. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right, right,
I
right, right.
always like AJ, all these people that's been backing me from day one before I even became anything in bodybuilding, when I was just up and coming and just taking L's and taking L's as I was working my way up.
Hmm.
Those are the true fans and true supporters of the Jamaican tank. You know what I'm saying? When people start coming around when you're winning, then they're not really true supporters. They're just trying to, get their channel to go up a little bit
Right,
more,
right,
or
right, right, right.
or the case may be. So yeah, man, when you reached out to me, there's never an issue with me coming on here and talking with you. Never
That's
an issue.
fantastic, man. I totally appreciate that. Really. Maybe as it gets closer to Romania, maybe I'll see because Fred has been on, and I'm a good friends with Vinny. Maybe I can get all three of you before you guys go to Romania before the Masters Olympia. But we'll
Yeah.
see. We'll put it together. Sir, again, thank you. Much love, much respect always. Congratulations on your win. And this year, I think it's going to be a great year. Continue for you. It's just been an honor interviewing you.
All right, brother. I appreciate you, man. We'll talk soon.
Definitely. Have a good night.
All right, brother. Take care.